So the concept of a lookup function in Excel is one of those things that sometimes it takes a little while to understand exactly how it can be beneficial, but once it makes sense to you, this is probably one of the coolest tools that I have found in Excel. So the purpose of a lookup is when you are looking for information that may be stored in another location. Typically you have a large worksheet and then you have information stored in another location that you want to pull into your worksheet. What I have in front of us isn't exactly a large worksheet, obviously. However, to keep it simple, I decided to have it all on one page just to show you how the VLOOKUP can work. So I have a table at the top that is listing all of the employees, their positions, department salary, and then their years of service. What I need to figure out is how much money they are going to pull in for their bonus. And as in most companies, usually a bonus schedule is based upon the time you have been employed. Sometimes it's commission, but for this case, we have a bonus schedule at the bottom that shows, depending upon the years you have been employed, your bonus will be adjusted accordingly. So what I would need to do, hypothetically, we could say that we had an entire worksheet filled with nothing but employees and their data, and then on a separate worksheet, or perhaps even in a separate workbook, I would have this bonus schedule. And what I want to do is to use a lookup function to tell Excel that I need to look up these years in this table to determine how much of a bonus they're going to get. So there are a couple different ways you can do a lookup function. For those of you who are just getting to learn about or getting to know functions, as I've said, I always prefer if you use this box. It helps you sort of learn where everything goes until you learn where everything goes. So I type VLOOKUP. I'm going to click OK. So when the box opens, there are lots of parts here. So basically what you are doing is you are telling Excel, this very first section, what do I want to look up? In this case, I know how many years an employee has worked with this company, so I want to look up the number of years this particular employee has been with the company. So that is my lookup value, because actually that lookup, the number of years will serve into how much of a bonus. So you need to look up their years in the bonus schedule. The second option is table array. So when you talk about a table array, you are talking about the table that actually has the answer to the question. So I want to know how much of a bonus Rick is going to get for 10 years of service. The table array will have that answer. So I'm going to select the cells in that range. Then the column number. So when you look at this table array, what they are asking for, so there, in this particular one, because it is a VLOOKUP, it's vertical lookup, there are two columns. So which column will give the answer to the question? So in this case, it is looking up in column 1, so it's going to find the answer in column 2. So all I have to do is type a 2 to indicate the second column in the table. And then in range lookup, this is where you will tell Excel, am I looking for an exact number or an exact value, or am I looking for something that would be rounded or approximate? In this case, because the years vary, their bonus schedule, they don't just have to hit 5 years to qualify or 10 years to qualify or 15. So you would want it to round. So in this case, I don't want it to find an exact match. So in here I would type true, and then I would press OK. So what we have found is that Rick, who has worked with the company for 10 years, is eligible for a $4,000 bonus. So now, in the ideal world, I would be able to copy that. However, what I didn't do is use those absolute values. So if we go back to week 2, we spent a little bit of time talking about absolute values. So this table array needs to be an absolute value, because regardless of where the employee is listed here, you are always going to pull from this bonus schedule, whether it's on this worksheet, another worksheet, or another workbook. So I am going to go in the formula, on the formula bar, and my table array is cells C17 to D21. So I'm going to make each of those absolute. All I'm doing is pressing F4. Then I'm going to press enter. So although Rick's did not change, when I copy or fill the formula down, we now have a bonus for each person who has been employed with the company. And it was a very simple thing to do, and the benefit of this, you easily could just look this up and handwrite it or type it yourself. However, if the years would change, so now Dan's been with us a little longer, it would automatically adjust his bonus schedule.